A few days ago, I made a video and I was worried about, hmm, I was worried about my computer dying because I had a low battery. And that was probably like 3 videos ago. Um, and I haven't charged my computer since I made that video. It's probably been three, at least 2 videos since then. So we're really cutting it close now. Yeah. But yeah, my timer's going and I'm just gonna see what happens and see if it dies in the middle. Um, this is a little bit of a different day because I think this is the first day I've done my morning pages, which is becoming less morning pages, but and more something else, but I'm still gonna call it that. After I've gotten ready and done my makeup, which is kind of like a weird thing because I don't even necessarily know if I look better with makeup. I really enjoy wearing makeup. I enjoy putting it on. It's fun, per my last video about the importance of fun and beauty. I guess this is a great example. I feel like makeup is fun and it makes you feel good sometimes. Sometimes it makes you not feel good, but at least you've like done the exercise of doing it. I think it's way more meditative than anybody gives it credit for, maybe. I also, for many years, used to work in the beauty industry, kind of. So I would run research projects to where women try out different beauty products and see if they like it, how they like it. And yeah, it was draining in some ways because a lot of the time it's about, fixating on what's wrong and what needs to be fixed. But then in other ways, it's very empowering and kind of allows us to play with what we're putting out into the world. And yeah, I think one of the themes that I've been most inspired by over the years is impermanence and temporality, as I talk about in other places. And I think I have really been hindered by this idea that everything is permanent and everything has a lot of weight behind it. And it's very liberating to embrace temporariness. And beauty is one of the most temporary ways that we can modify our bodies and modify ourselves and our outward expression. And it's a way that we can still have fun in life. So yeah, I think I've been kind of ashamed for a long time for loving beauty because I think it seems shallow and superficial and not serious. And maybe it is shallow and maybe it is superficial and maybe it isn't that serious, and maybe that's a good thing because we have so many places in life that are deep and hard or scary or a million other things. And so being able to just kind of center on what is on the surface can be very, 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 very grounding. So yeah, I think I might start experimenting with more fun makeup things like glitters and things like that, because why the F not? That whole impermanence, temporariness also kind of leads me to talk about a theme for my Substack and for my creative process that has been emerging for a long time, which is I've been calling it and talking about it with a friend of mine as drafting in public, which I think could be dangerous in some contexts, but in the right contexts, it can be very powerful. So if you are someone who is an authority on something, maybe drafting, a report on any serious political matter is probably not a good stance to take. Although I think you could probably, argue that breaking news is a form of drafting publicly because you're learning as you go, but you still need to report on what's happening. Anyway, but for little old me talking about what I'm talking about on the internet, I don't think that an expectation of perfection or finality is appropriate, and it's definitely not something that aids me in being able to produce creative writing or produce thoughts. I also think that it reminds me of a professor who I had in college who I actually recently was talking about a lot of negative influence that he had in my life with someone who I met. But for any bad teacher or person who has bad influence who is coming from a position of power or authority, usually there's something good that you're also getting from them if they are, that controversial. So this professor, who I won't name, but had a lot of negative impact, but one positive question that I think he instilled in me to contemplate is the idea that, or the question of whether thoughts are dangerous and whether thoughts can be dangerous. And he wasn't the only academic in my undergrad who I was interested in, learning from or studying, who reflected on this idea of like dangerous thinking. I think that if we live in a world where thoughts can be dangerous and discourse among people can be dangerous, i.e. free speech, that is like the foundation of democracy, and that's how democracy crumbles. So yeah, I guess the reason why I start kind of going down that rabbit hole is because drafting in public risks bringing forward ideas that might not hold up as they go through the rigor of like a more peer-reviewed process or Socratic process or something like that. And that doesn't mean that they're bad in the first place, and that doesn't mean that we shouldn't allow ourselves to have ideas that maybe aren't fully baked. Because I write about this in a short post called About Ideas, because if we don't allow ourselves to have unfully baked thoughts or unfully baked ideas or contemplate a new thought, then we don't have new thoughts and we don't move forward and we don't challenge one another. And I think that for a long time, I see us living in a very delicate time where anything you say is picked apart and shot down. And I see that especially in elite academic world's realms. I guess I'll leave it there. And it's really, really dangerous to think that is what's dangerous. It's dangerous to create kind of like eggshell chambers where everyone's just sitting around not being able to say anything. And I wonder if free speech, in the sense that, holding different, I wonder if free speech is an indicator of how healthy our society is. If no one is able to hold differing opinions, do we create almost like a pressure cooker for violence at some point, or some sort of societal unrest? Now I'm really putting my money where my mouth is about having ideas that maybe I shouldn't be just like spewing around and putting out there, but I don't think there's anything super controversial in talking about free speech. I think that if I continue to do this practice, I will, there's growth that I think is going to be challenging in terms of interacting with people I know on a day-to-day basis. If they, watch any of these or read any of what I'm putting out there. I've already started experiencing that, so I don't think there's something too different about putting out a longer form video. And honestly, I think my approach to being super weird online, that's like all capital, super weird online, I think as much as it has made me feel kind of like embarrassed, it also has it's had the effect that I hoped it would have on my real physical material earthly life. Because I've been playing around with this idea that they say be boring in your home life or in your personal life so that you can be extraordinary in your professional life. I don't think I'm there, but I do wonder if there's something about be your fully weird self in your virtual life so that you can be at peace in your real material life. That's my new thing I'm playing around with. So my computer didn't die, and I'll probably post this even if I have some misgivings about doing so.